स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Welcome to StudyIQ's initiative, the podcast. I am your host, Dipansh Murjani. In our previous episodes, we had discussed some important topics related to UPSC exam, like constitutional amendment procedure, important constitutional amendments. So all our new listeners can listen to our previous episodes not only on YouTube but on all the audio streaming platforms. In today's episode, we will discuss about union and state. Basically, we will talk about roles and responsibilities of union government and state government. Sir, in Indian federalism, we see that administrative power is divided between central government and state governments. So, for a UPSC aspirant, can you explain in simple words some useful information that is related to union and state?
In Indian Constitution, there is a dual polity with a vibrant division of powers between union and state, each being best within the spheres allocated to it. The states in India are not the formation of the center, nor do they draw their authority from union government. Conversely, like the union government, they also draw their authority directly from the Constitution, and they are free to operate in the field allocated to them by the Constitution. In the beginning, the Constitution of India has made most extravagant provisions about the relationship between union and state. This was done to reduce the conflicts between center and state. However, the actual operation of center-state relation for all these years has been given a rise to a disagreement about the understanding of arrangements made under the Indian Constitution.
Sir, can you enlighten us on the roles and responsibilities that our central government plays?
Central executive body of the government, the cabinet, performs array of functions. There its role is critical and pivotal. Some of the functions, as mentioned, we will discuss. The first and foremost function played by central executive body or central or union government is formulation, execution, evaluation and revision of public policy in various spheres which the party in power seeks to progress and practice. Central and union government also responsible for coordination among various ministries and other organs of the government, which might indulge conflicts, duplication of functions and empire building, preparation and monitoring of the legislative agenda which translated the policies of the government in action through statutory enactments. Union government also executes the control over administration through appointments, rule-making powers and handling of crisis and disasters, natural as well as political disasters. Even union government does financial management through fiscal control and operation of funds like Consolidated Fund and Contingency Fund of India.
Sir, after understanding the roles and responsibilities of the cabinet, now we are curious to understand what does our state government do? What are the roles and responsibilities of state governments?
The state government is defined as the government of country's subdivision and shares political power with the national union government. In India, the state governments are the level of government below the central government. Each state of the country is governed by the state government of its own. Following are the roles and responsibilities of state governments. State governments have separate departments for different functions of the state. States have jurisdiction over education, agriculture, public health, sanitation, hospitals and dispensaries and many other departments. Internal security is also one of the functions performed by state government. State government have to maintain the internal security, law and order in the state through its state police. In the sphere of public order, the state have jurisdiction over the police department of the state. In the field of education, it is a responsibility of state for providing a public education system, maintaining school buildings and colleges, employment for teachers, providing help to underprivileged students, all come under the education department of the state. In the field of agriculture, the state governments have to provide support for farmers, funds for best farming practices, disease prevention, and aid during the disasters such as floods and droughts. Even in the field of finance, state government handles the financial powers of the state, which include authorization of all expenditure, taxation, and borrowing by the state government. It has the power to originate money bills also. It has control over taxes on entertainment and wealth, etc.
Sir, when federalism is in talking, it is said that India's federalism is quite different from other countries of the world. And in India, we see that central government is a bit more powerful than the state governments. What is your opinion on this?
The Constitution of India deals with union and state executive distinctly. However, the provisions follow a common pattern for the union and the states. The system of distribution of administrative powers between union and states followed in the Constitution of India in various administrative fields. In addition to the array of subjects allotted in the 7th schedule of Constitution, even in normal time, Parliament can under certain circumstances assure legislative powers over a subject following within the sphere of state. Beside the power to legislate on the very wide field, the Constitution confers in the Union Parliament the constituent power or the power to initiate amendment of the Constitution. In simple words, state government or state legislation cannot originate the amendment bill for the Constitution. With reference to Indian Federation, administration is primarily furnished by the state agencies, dissimilar to the other federations where both the federal and the state government create their own agencies for the administration of their laws and the subjects allocated to them in the Constitution. However, we can understand with the example how USA is functioning. In other context, even the laws of the union are left to the administered by the state authorities in order to avoid duplication of administrative machineries. In every federal constitution, the central and the state governments are firmly enclosed and the jurisdiction of the one excludes the other. The center is concerned with problems of the union list. The states are with matters on the state list. There is also provision for the allocation of the powers by the union to the states and vice versa.
Sir, in Indian federalism, what is the responsibility of our executive head, that is the president?
The executive powers of union are assigned by the president, who can exercise it directly or through officers subordinate to him in accordance with Constitution. The president has power to appoint and remove certain dignitaries in the state. He appoints the governor of state, who holds his office during the rule of the president under Article 115 and Article 156. He also appoints judges of high courts under Article 217 and plays a significant role in the removal of high court judges, as also members of state public service commissions under Article 317.
Sir, in context of Indian federalism, can you elucidate some remarks of Supreme Court?
In India, the central government or the union is responsible for the governance of whole country. There should be effective administrative norms between union and state to maintain the harmony. The Supreme Court has demarcated that the executive powers of union is coexistence with powers of the parliament. With this limitation, the Executive Control Act against the provisions of the Constitution or of any law made by Parliament. The union government is dependent on the state to give effect to its programs, as we have seen in the case of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Unless and until state governments will not implement the programs designed by union government, these programs would not have been a good success. The scheme of distribution of administrative powers has some major objectives. It arms the union government with powers to have effective control over administrations of the state and several advices for intergovernmental cooperation and coordination. the executive powers in the relation to any treaty or agreement that has been discussed on the Union by the Constitution. Parliament has also vested executive functions in Union over concurrent list matters under several acts.
Sir, after understanding Supreme Court's view, we are eager to understand what do constitutional experts believe.
Experts believe the principle of federalism lies not in the constitutional as institutional structures but in the society itself. Federal government is scheme by which the federal qualities of the society are expressed and protected. In the impact of federalizing drifts, the one-party dominant system has given way to a multi-party system, and elections have unfavorably affected the fortunes of major national parties, bringing to some regional parties to critical separate threshold, giving them heavy electoral age. As we have seen the examples which are regional parties in the state of Tamil Nadu, in the state of Maharashtra, in the state of West Bengal, etc. In order to form state governments by many regional parties, major national parties are under pressure to adjust their organizational structures to suit the demand of regionalization, making required adjustment to the federal imperatives of Indian polity and society by large.
Sir, can you throw some light on constitutional provisions which are related to federalism?
Legislative relations. The union-state relations in the legislative domain have been dealt by Article 245 to 254. The Constitution evidently provides that the Parliament shall have special authority to make laws for the whole or any part of the terrain of India, with regard to subjects mentioned into the Union list. This list contains topics like defense, foreign affairs, currency, Union duties, and communication. On the other hand, the state has exclusive powers over the 66 items enshrined into the state list of Schedule 7. This list comprises of topics like public order, health, sanitation, agriculture, etc. Additionally, there is a concurrent list containing 47 subjects such as criminal law and procedure, marriage, contract, trust, social insurance, etc., over which both union and state government can legislate. Although we will discuss about union, state and concurrent list in detail in next episode, I will give you some brief information about these lists. If the law of the union government and the state government clash with each other, the former succeeds. That means union government will prevail. However, if there is a situation where state law is simultaneous, list shall prevail over the central law if the same had been reserved for the considerations of the president and his consent had been received before the representation of central law on the same subject. That means, in simple words, if center or union government have not made any law on that subject which is from concurrent list either in the state list, and state have already made the law on the subject and president have already given a consent to the law, then state law will prevail in this situation.
Sir, thank you for giving us the information. Dear listeners, we will wrap up this episode of the podcast. In the next episode, we will again interact with you with some important topic related to your exam. Till then, keep studying and stay connected to StudyIQ. You can listen to StudyIQ Presents the podcast on various audio streaming platforms such as Kuku FM, Spotify, Google Podcast, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, etc. Links are pinned in the comment section below. Thank you.